How far would you go for justice? For Marianne Bachmeier, it was all the way to the end of a gun barrel in a packed courtroom. She transformed her grief into an act that shook Germany and the world. This is the story of a mother, her lost daughter, and the moment that would forever define her as both a vigilante and a mother consumed by sorrow. In the early 1980s, Germany was shaken by the murder of a 7-year-old girl, Anna Bachmeier, the young daughter of Marianne Bachmeier. Anna was known as a spirited, independent child who had occasionally clashed with her mother. On March 5, 1980, after a dispute with her mother, Anna skipped school and tragically fell into the path of a predator. Anna encountered Klaus Grabowski, a 35-year-old man with a disturbing past. Grabowski, a butcher by trade, had a history of sexual offenses against young girls. Despite having undergone chemical castration years prior, he had reversed the procedure through hormone treatments. On this day, he lured Anna into his home under false pretenses, promising her a cat. What followed was a horrific crime. Grabowski assaulted and ultimately killed Anna by strangling her with his fiancé's tights. Grabowski's actions sent shockwaves through the community, and when the news reached Marianne, it left her devastated. Yet, her grief was quickly overtaken by a burning desire for justice. The arrest of Klaus Grabowski provided little solace to Marianne. Though Grabowski was in custody, she could not shake the pain and anger over her daughter's death. To her, the judicial system seemed insufficient to deal with someone who had repeatedly harmed children. Marianne's inner turmoil grew as she saw her daughter's murderer prepared to plead for his own version of justice. As details of the crime emerged, Marianne's despair deepened. It became known that Grabowski had been a repeat offender, with authorities aware of his past offenses. Public sentiment turned against him and the criminal justice system, with many questioning how someone with his record could still have had access to children. In the weeks leading up to the trial, Marianne's anger and helplessness consumed her. Friends and family noticed the toll the tragedy had taken on her, and rumors circulated about her thoughts of revenge. On March 6, 1981, the day of Grabowski's trial, Marianne entered the courtroom in Lübeck carrying a small-caliber pistol. She had concealed the firearm in her handbag, a calculated decision that hinted at her intentions. As she watched Grabowski enter the room, her sorrow and rage reached a breaking point. In a moment that stunned the courtroom and all of Germany, Marianne stood, aimed her pistol at Grabowski, and fired 7 shots, 6 of which struck him directly. Grabowski collapsed, dead, as chaos erupted around them. The trial had transformed in an instant from a pursuit of justice to a shocking scene of revenge. Marianne's actions were met with gasps, shock, and confusion. She was immediately detained by court security, her face an expression of release from the agony she had carried for so long. This act of retribution raised immediate and polarizing responses from the public. The incident quickly became a national sensation. Marianne's story struck a chord with the German public, and reactions were deeply divided. Many empathized with her, understanding her immense pain and seeing her as a mother driven to the edge by her loss. Others, however, viewed her actions as dangerous vigilantism that undermined the justice system. News outlets and tabloids scrambled to cover every detail of Marianne's life, her relationship with Anna, and the tragic events that had led her to commit murder. Her face was splashed across newspapers, her story dissected and analyzed by experts, reporters, and the public alike. Marianne soon became a symbol for grieving parents and the complex moral debates around justice, revenge, and the boundaries of the law. Her story called into question the efficacy of the justice system, especially when dealing with repeat offenders like Grabowski, who had slipped through the cracks despite his history. Marianne's own trial became a media spectacle. Her defense argued that she had been driven to a mental breaking point, consumed by grief and a sense of betrayal by a system that had failed to protect her daughter. Prosecution, however, contended that Marianne had made a premeditated choice to take justice into her own hands. Ultimately, the court sentenced Marianne to 6 years in prison, though she would serve only 3. The leniency of her sentence reflected, in part, the court's acknowledgement of her profound emotional suffering. But it also underscored the sympathy that many people, even in the legal system, felt for her as a mother who had lost everything. Marianne's actions sparked widespread discussions on vigilantism, with some arguing that certain circumstances justified her extreme response. Others feared that her actions could set a dangerous precedent, suggesting that individuals could override the justice system to exact their own revenge. Upon her release, Marianne found herself struggling to move forward. The media attention and public scrutiny continued as she grappled with guilt, grief, and the complicated legacy of her actions. She later moved to Africa, seeking a fresh start away from Germany. In interviews given later in her life, Marianne reflected on the decision she had made, at times expressing regret, but also acknowledging the complexity of her emotions. Marianne Bachmeier's story remains a powerful narrative of love, loss, and the lengths to which a mother will go for justice. Her actions left an indelible mark on Germany's legal and cultural landscape, raising questions about justice, revenge, and the ethics of taking the law into one's own hands. The story of Marianne Bachmeier continues to resonate, inviting questions that remain relevant in today's society. What would any parent do in her situation? Is vigilante justice ever justified, or does it ultimately undermine society? Marianne's case highlights the struggle for justice faced by those left behind after violent crimes. It remains a story not only about a mother's grief, but about the challenging, often painful choices people face in the quest for justice. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and join the conversation below. Let us know your thoughts. Was Marianne a grieving mother or a vigilante? And can anyone truly judge the choices of a mother who has lost so much?